Welcome to Mercy Medical Center's live webinar. I am Lynn Dennis, Program Coordinator, and today's topic is Picture a Healthier, Happier You. Joining us is Stephanie Neff, Community Program Manager with the Blue Zones Project in Cedar Rapids, and Kristin Kuch, Mercy Wellness Coach with Mercy Care Business Health Solutions. After their discussion, they will take questions from our audience. To submit your questions anytime during the discussion, go to the window in the upper right-hand corner of your screen and type in your question. If you don't see the screen, click on the orange box with the white arrow. Your questions will be confidential. Well, I am very happy to welcome both of you to our webinar today. We're going to begin with Stephanie's overview of the Blue Zones Project, and I will hand the mic over to her now so we can go ahead and get started.
Great. Thanks so much, Lynn. I'm thrilled to be here today, and thank you to you all for listening so that we can have a conversation about the Blue Zones Project and what that means for you. So first we're going to talk about what are Blue Zones. Hopefully some of you already know, but I wanted to give you some background just in case you don't. It's hard to imagine, but there are actually places on Earth where people live vibrant, active lives well into their twilight years. You can see those areas highlighted on the map in front of you. In these longevity hotspots, people are 3 times more likely to live to be 100 than the rest of us. They were named Blue Zones areas by National Geographic explorer and author Dan Buettner, and their cultures naturally include a lifestyle of habits that help people live longer. On average, people living in Blue Zones areas live 12 more good years than U.S. citizens. Now you'll see a picture of Dan Buettner in his book, The Blue Zones, 9 Lessons for Living Longer from the People Who've Lived the Longest. Again, in Blue Zones areas, people share a common lifestyle, diet, and outlook that leads to better quantity and quality of life. Definitely something that we all want and hope to achieve through the Blue Zones Project in Cedar Rapids and other areas of Iowa. Research has confirmed that there are actually 9 lifestyle principles known as the Blue Zones Power 9 common to these Blue Zones areas that lead to a longer, happier, healthier life. The Power 9 are lifestyle principles that are small, easy steps everyone can take in their daily lives to feel better, live longer, and be happier. These simple behaviors are patterned after the lifestyles of people who live in Blue Zones areas and include the following. The first one is moving naturally, making daily physical activity an unavoidable part of your environment. The second one is having the right outlook. 2 areas in this category. One is knowing your purpose. Why do you get up in the morning? And then downshifting, remembering to work less, slow down, take vacations, and the like. The third area is eating wisely, eating only until you're 80% full or saying hara hachi bu before meal times. The plant slant, eating more veggies and less meat and processed food. And having wine at 5, drinking a glass of red wine each day, hopefully while socializing with your friends or family members. The foundation includes 3 areas where people improve belonging, creating a healthy social network, connecting or reconnecting with religion by joining the right tribe, and prioritizing family and putting loved ones first. Later in the webinar, Kristin will be talking more in detail about these principles. So what is the Blue Zones Project? The purpose of the Blue Zones Project is to ignite a community-by-community well-being transformation. The project focuses primarily on 3 areas: policy, environment, and social networks. As things stand today, we have our work cut out for us. 2/3 of Iowans are overweight or obese, which has led to an increase in chronic illness. There's been a rapid rise of type 2 diabetes in both children and adults, and we've literally engineered natural movement out of our daily life. We have TV remotes, we have automatic push mowers and snow blowers, we have garage door openers, electric can openers. Think about how many of you at one point in your life did these things manually and now use these conveniences. This has increased our sedentary lifestyle and taken movement out of our natural daily lives. In addition, food portions have grown considerably, and our social interactions and connections have changed from less face-to-face to more electronic interactions. Email, Facebook, and Twitter are examples of that. So we want to make healthy choices easier through permanent change, and that's what the Blue Zones Project will help us do. Change the environment, policy, and social networks to make healthy choices the easy choice. By now, you may have noticed something exciting, that by optimizing the surroundings of any community, we can encourage the 9 behaviors that lead to longer, happier, healthier lives. If you notice that, you've just discovered the idea behind the Blue Zones Project. We know there's no silver bullet for improving well-being, but there may be silver buckshot through a coordinated strategy that reaches across age groups, interests, income levels, and industry sectors. An environmental approach in 6 areas, citizens, grocery, employers, schools, restaurants, and policy, seeks to create permanent change that make healthy choices easier. So now we'll touch on bringing the Blue Zones Project to Iowa. Communities across the state are embarking on a well-being improvement transformation that we've talked about called the Blue Zones Project. It's been brought to Iowa through an innovative sponsorship by Wellmark, Blue Cross Blue Shield, in collaboration with Healthways, and the Blue Zones Project launched in 2011 as the cornerstone piece of the Healthiest State Initiative, Governor Terry Branstad's plan to make Iowa the healthiest state in the nation by 2016. In 2012, Iowa communities began implementing Blue Zones Project principles to create more livable, walkable, bikeable, and socially engaged communities. You can see on the map that the Blue Zones Project has selected 10 Iowa communities with populations above 10,000 to serve as demonstration sites. 9 additional communities with populations below 10,000 have also been selected. In 2012, we call this Wave 1 of the Blue Zones demonstration site communities. Waterloo, Cedar Falls, Spencer, and Mason City were selected. In January of 2013, Wave 2 was announced. In this wave, Cedar Rapids, Sioux City, and Muscatine began implementing Blue Zones Project principles. Beginning in 2014, Wave 3 will kick off in Oskaloosa, Iowa City, and Marion. More than 125,000 people have pledged support, and more than 500 organizations are actively working to adopt evidence-based actions supported through the Blue Zones Project and the Power 9 principles. We hope that by engaging more communities in Iowa, we can increase these results significantly. By the end of the project, nearly 18% of Iowans will reside within a Blue Zones Project demonstration community. I'll touch on now the well-being of Iowa as measured by the Gallup Healthways Well-Being Index. In order for you and for us to really understand how to improve well-being, we can look at 6 domains measured by the Gallup Healthways Well-Being Index. These domains include a life evaluation, or an overall assessment of the life you lead from the best possible to the worst, emotional health, a composite of respondents' daily exercise experiences and how respondents feel, physical health, a history of disease and daily health experiences, work environment, specifically related to job satisfaction and engagement, and then healthy behaviors and basic access. In 2011, Iowa ranked highest in basic access, which is access to food, shelter, healthcare, and a safe and satisfying place to live. We ranked lowest in healthy behavior, measures of lifestyle habits with established relationships to health outcomes, such as the number of servings of fruits or vegetables eaten. The good news is that we control about 70 to 80% of those factors that influence our health. Genetics only factors in about 20% of the time, so you can't blame your health problems on your parents. The 2 main factors that make up that 70% are that healthy choices we choose as individuals to make or not make. And the second component is whether the environment in which we live, work, and play is conducive to making healthy choices easier. The link between our health and the environment is unmistakable. Studies from both the Centers for Disease Control and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation support these concerns. Environmental change is the largest opportunity we have to increase healthy behaviors. And addressing comprehensive lifestyle changes could allow the state of Iowa to redirect as much as $16 billion over the next 5 years to economic development. Over the last 30 years, our environment has brought in slow and subtle changes which have brought ease and access to things that aren't really good for us. So in order to change environment, you might be asking, how do I get involved? Great question. I have the answer for you. You can start here at www.bluezonesproject.com. In order to be successfully certified as a Blue Zones community, we need 20% of individuals to take the pledge and get started towards a healthier lifestyle. There are also opportunities to volunteer and become an advocate for the Blue Zones Project and all the great things that will be happening in Cedar Rapids over the next 3 years. Some examples of the upcoming activities include volunteer and ambassador trainings. We encourage you to sign up today through our website at thebluezonesproject.com. These trainings will teach you more about the Blue Zones Project and how to be a champion in your church, civic group, organization, or business. We also have a kickoff event with Dan Buettner himself coming to sign autographs and tell people about his experiences in the Blue Zones communities. We hope you'll join us on Monday, September 9th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Concert Hall at College Community, located at Prairie High School. I'll now pass the microphone to Kristin, who will tell you a little bit more in detail about the Power 9 and how you can integrate those into your daily life.
Thank you, Stephanie. So the 5 areas around the globe that have the highest concentrated of people living 100 years or more have many things in common. These principles, the Power 9, serve as the foundation of Blue Zones. The Power 9 can be bundled into 4 categories, those being move naturally, the right outlook, eat wisely, and belong. So we'll discuss each of those individually now. Move naturally. Inconvenience yourself. Now I'm sure what you're thinking is, what? Inconvenience myself? Kristin, how will that benefit me? Well, here's your answer. Those modern conveniences that you know and I know as elevators, escalators, snow blowers, riding lawnmowers, can openers, and many others actually promotes our laziness. Sure, it makes life a little easier, but in the meantime, it takes away opportunities for us to live active lives. Keep moving. Find some ways to get active during your normal everyday life. Do you enjoy walking? Walk to the post office. Don't drive. Enjoy biking? Bike to work. Do you have a sedentary job? Stand up when you're on the phone. Going to the 4th floor? Take the stairs, not the elevator. Buddy up. Inviting a buddy to join you for a regular walk keeps both of you accountable. Choose wisely, though. Choose a neighbor or a friend who will be reliable and keep you on the path. Plant a garden. Having a garden means having work to do. It regularly requires attention. Bending, stooping, carrying, pushing and pulling, all actions that use your muscles. It's low intensity, so it's easy on your joints and gives you a full range of motion. Besides being good for your body physically, it's a stress reliever for many. And at the end, you've got a fresh produce bucket waiting for you to show for your efforts. Yoga, another activity that's easy on the joints, relieves stress, and gives you full range of motion activity. Aim to practice at least twice a week with a trained and certified instructor. The right outlook, encompassing purpose and downshift. So knowing why you wake up in the morning or giving yourself a personal mission statement. Consider what you're good at, what you like to do, and why it's important to you. Having a strong sense of purpose adds 7 years to your lifespan. Praying or meditating, creating a space in your home that's quiet or comfortable, slowing yourself down and allowing yourself to feel spiritually connected. If you'd rather, take your meditation or prayer outside. Nature works too. Nap. Similar to meditating and praying, napping allows ourselves to slow down and to reduce stress. Chronic stress leads to chronic inflammation, which actually shortens our life expectancy. Reduce noise. Reducing your exposure to TVs, radios, computers, phones, or other electronic devices clutters our lives. Most modern electronic devices adds to our mental clutter, zaps our energy, decreases our creativity, and doesn't help us slow down. Eat wisely. The power principles here, the 80% rule, plant slant, and wine at 5. Cutting back. Stop eating when you're about 80% full. We as Americans typically stop eating when we feel full. People who live in blue zones typically stop eating when they're no longer hungry, and there is a significant difference. Change the size of your plates and glasses. Simply eating off a salad plate instead of a dinner plate downsizes your portions, as does drinking from a tall, narrow glass instead of a short, wide glass. Purchase smaller packages of food. Why, you ask? The bigger the package, the more you eat. An alternative? Purchase the big bag, but put small, single servings into smaller baggies or containers. Keep snacks out of sight. Don't leave the candy bowl or the cookies on the countertop. They are way too tempting. Out of sight, out of mind. Eat slowly and mindfully. Eating slower and being mindful about the food that we're putting in our bodies allows ourselves to feel ourselves becoming satisfied with our meals. Take time to mindfully examine the food that you're eating. What color is it? What does it smell like? What's the texture like? Is it cold or hot? Take special note of the food at your next meal and notice the difference as to how you usually consume your meal and this new mindful way. Beans, vegetables, and nuts, the cornerstones of Blue Zone's eating styles. Beans offer protein and fiber and have been associated with a decreased risk of heart attacks and colon cancer. Fruits and vegetables are packed with vitamins and minerals. They're naturally low in fats and calories and are always filling. Nuts. Several studies have been done on the positive effects of including nuts in a diet. Those being lowering the risk of heart disease, coronary disease, and increasing longevity. But note, 1 ounce, equivalent to a small handful or around 20 nuts, typically has between 165 and 200 calories, so a small serving is best. People who live in blue zones areas rarely eat meat. When they do, it's typically pork, and it's the size of a deck of cards, 3 to 4 ounces. And note that this only happens about 5 times per month. Rarely, if ever, do they consume processed foods. And a good rule of thumb, if it grows, eat. If it doesn't, don't. Happy hour. Red wine has been associated with lowering rates of heart disease, reduces stress, and decreases chronic inflammation. Moderation is key. 1 to 2 drinks per day will do it. Unfortunately, we can't save up all week and have a fun Saturday night. More is not going to give you more benefits, unfortunately. Belong, encompassing your right tribe, belonging, and loved ones first. Your inner circle. People living in blue zones value their close-knit groups and commit themselves to supporting their fellow friends, often for life. They share the same values and many of the same healthy habits. Research shows that the following things are contagious: smoking, obesity, happiness, and loneliness. So choose your inner circle carefully. Togetherness. Aim to spend 30 minutes a day with your inner circle group. Ideas: a daily walk, a shared meal, or a book club. Faith-based communities. 263 individuals aged 100 years and older from blue zone areas were interviewed. Only 5 did not have some sort of faith-based community. Attending faith-based services 4 times per month adds 4 to 14 years to life expectancy. Rituals. We all like rituals and regular routines, children especially. Make a family night, or maybe a Sunday noon meal as a whole family. Celebrate holidays together and create traditions. Putting family first. Invest time, energy, and others for your children, spouses, parents, and other family members. Find ways to spend time together, whether that's playing or volunteering. A great opportunity is out there now that the whole family can participate in or volunteer for, and it's called Meet Me at the Market. Now, Lynn Dennis will share with you more details about it.
Well, Mercy is proud to partner with other local organizations to offer a healthy new program to our community. Meet Me at the Market is a free social walk, run, or bike event that was inspired by and coordinated with the Blue Zone Project in Cedar Rapids. This project has really taken off, and currently over 1,000 adults and children have pre-registered. The mission is to bring adults and families together to enjoy physical activity, to socialize with friends and family, and to patronize the local businesses. And as you'll see, Meet Me at the Market can include virtually all of the Power 9 principles. Meet Me at the Market takes place outside the Nubo City Market under the South Green awnings. It kicked off on May 2nd and will run through October 31st, rain or shine. Our check-in is from 5 to 6:30 p.m. every Thursday night. So how does Meet Me at the Market work? It's really very simple. Register once for the entire season, then just check in at the Nubo City Market each Thursday. It's easiest to register online at nubocitymarket.com/meetme. When you check in, you will get a hand stamp that will qualify you for discounts at the participating businesses, which includes vendors in the Nubo City Market, as well as many businesses in the Nubo, Czech Village, and downtown districts. After just 4 visits, you'll earn the free Meet Me at the Market t-shirt. You may begin your walk, run, or bike at any time because there is not a mass start. However, group walks and runs are forming. A variety of walking, running, and biking routes and distances are suggested, and these routes will cover city sidewalks, trails, and some share the road street biking routes for adult bikers. Then we encourage everyone to stick around and enjoy the discounts and free music at the market. Now, the market hours are 4 to 9 p.m. every Thursday, but check-in for Meet Me at the Market is just 5 to 6:30. Now, I'm going to hand the mic back to Kristin for our wrap-up.
Adopting a Blue Zones lifestyle has the potential to add 10 to 12 years of health to your life. The choice is yours. So our challenge for you is to think about what things you can start doing today to live a healthier life. Make yourself a goal and commit to it. We are all cheering for you. I'll send the microphone to Lynn, who has some closing remarks.
All right, we have our contact information on the screen, but we will now be taking our questions from our listeners. To remind you, questions can be submitted from the box in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And we will begin with our first question. And I think this first one probably goes to Stephanie. Are there things people or organizations must do to be involved? This person says she noticed a pledge item is to get a dog. If she doesn't get the dog, does that mean she can't be totally involved in Blue Zones?
That's a great question. I'll give you one of mine. I have 4. No, there is nothing. This is the great thing about the Blue Zones Project is that each, for the citizen pledge and for the organizational pledges and for the community policy pledge as well, each of those areas has a checklist, essentially, a menu of best practices that you can select from. And so the individual pledge that you go online and take, what you want to do is kind of sign up to from the bluezonesproject.com, and you can go in and pledge, and then you want to take an action. So you can scroll through, and there's actions related to healthy eating, active living, social connectedness, and you can pick the 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 that you feel either you already are doing or things that you'd like to try. And then when you log into your page, it'll give you little reminders and tips on how you can go about trying the things that you'd like to try. But certainly not a requirement for you as an individual to do every single pledge action item. And same thing with organizations. Each organization, restaurants, grocery stores, schools, and work sites all have their own checklist of items from which they can select to achieve a certain point value, which then gets those organizations designated. But great question.
Okay. I love this next question. Stephanie, is for you. How much money is involved to get started in the Blue Zone program?
The Blue Zones Project is not there's no cost at all to get started in the Blue Zones Project. You can go online and pledge to take an action. You can become a volunteer and do the volunteer training. Really, you kind of get out of it what you put into it. So if you want to invest more time in creating a Blue Zones lifestyle for yourself, you can certainly do that. We have tools even for within your home that you can check off, kind of do a kitchen checklist or a bedroom checklist to make your home a Blue Zone in and of itself. So there's no money involved with getting started with the Blue Zones Project. I'm wondering, though, if that question also is related to Meet Me at the Market. And there also is no cost in being involved in Meet Me at the Market. So you can register for either the Meet Me at the Market or the Blue Zones Project for no cost at all, but great benefits.
The next question asks about the times for Meet Me at the Market, and then do you walk before or after you check in, which is a great question to clarify also. The market, as I said, is open 4 to 9, but we are there for checking in the people who have pre-registered or for drop-in registration between 5 and 6:30, right out front under the south side green awnings. Now, as far as your question, do you walk before or after? Whatever fits your schedule. We have some people that are there at 5 o'clock and they take off and do their activity. We have some people who show up at 6:30 as we're packing things up, who have been out doing their activity or just got off work and 6:30 is the earliest they could be, and then they take off from there. We have, and what we really encourage is if you're biking to consider biking from home or parking in one of the trailhead parking lots and biking into the market. There's good parking behind the market, but that just frees up more of the parking spaces for non-bikers. Okay, we have another question. I think this might, well, I'm going to go. I'm concerned about my overweight 9-year-old. Are there programs for children? I will answer for Meet Me at the Market, and yes, we have all ages. In fact, we have T-shirts in small, medium, and large child size also, so we encourage family members to be there. But I'm going to turn the mic back over to you, Stephanie, to maybe address an issue related to Blue Zone in general.
Sure, another great question. There are programs certainly in Cedar Rapids that address overweight in children and adults both. But the concept of the Blue Zones Project is really to create more of an environment that supports better lifestyle habits to make healthy choices easier. And so what we know, what research tells us is that if you go through a program but you don't live in an environment that supports, and when I say environment that supports that, I mean the whole community. I mean when kids are going to school, do they have access to fresh, healthy foods? Do they have regular opportunities for physical activity? How is the home environment set up? When you go out to a restaurant, do you know which items are healthier? Do you know what you can select from that menu that's going to be lower in fat or lower in sugar so that you can make the best choices? Same with the grocery store. Are foods labeled appropriately? Are they at, are they at eye level? Are all the sugary, sweetened cereals at eye level for kids so they're tempted by that? And as parents, we kind of have to fight our kids to get them through certain aisles because the kids are constantly being drawn in and being tempted by those things. Or are the healthy cereals at that eye level so that kids can make some healthy choices? So we're working in all of those areas to help nudge kids towards healthier decisions and support them in leading lifelong healthy lifestyles to improve their overall well-being, make them feel better, and help them to live better. So we encourage you to get involved with the Blue Zones Project and really support and be an advocate for that, whether that's in your work site or in the schools area. If you have children, there are a lot of college community schools, Cedar Rapids schools, Linn-Mar schools, and then beginning next year, Marion Independent Schools will all be involved in helping to get some of their schools designated. So lots of great things going on to support creating that healthier environment for children especially.
Next question, Stephanie or Kristin, whichever would like to address it, asking us to explain what hara hara hachi bu means and why this would be helpful to our eating. So who wants to take this one on?
Hara hachi bu. So hara hachi bu ties in with the 80% rule. And people often say, well, how do I know when I'm 80% full? That's kind of a random number. What does that mean? But hara hachi bu is a phrase that comes from Okinawa, Japan, and it's what Okinawans say before they eat. And it's a mindfulness principle. So it's reminding themselves before they even start eating to do the things that Kristin mentioned, which is, pay attention to what you're eating. Eat with some thought to it. Don't just kind of shovel in the food because you're hungry and then go, oh, I'm full. It takes your brain 20 minutes to recognize that your stomach is full. So that's why we eat and eat and eat, and then we go, oh, I'm so full, and then 20 minutes later we go, oh, I ate too much. So you want to say hara hachi bu before meal times just to remind yourself that when you feel satiated rather than feeling full, that's when you should stop eating, because in about 20 minutes, then your stomach is going to have told your brain, I'm full, and at that point, then you won't feel like you've overeaten.
Okay. Next question. Says, I'm not a member of a faith-based community, but I consider myself to be very spiritual in my personal lifestyle and beliefs. Can you address this in terms of the Blue Zones Project? Stephanie, do you want to take this?
as Kristin mentioned, when they surveyed folks from the Blue Zones areas, the vast majority of them indicated that they had a connection with a faith-based community. A lot of what faith-based communities provide for people is a good social network, a good support system, folks that care about one another, that work together to accomplish goals, that have similar value systems. And really that's the key, is connecting with a group, having the right tribe of people who have the same outlook as you do or as you want to have, having a positive, right outlook and being able to support one another and rely on each other. And when we all have those moments in our life when we're down or we need a little bit of extra help, that you have those people there to support you. And we live in a very transient society, and so oftentimes we find that we don't live close to family, especially as we get older, and so we can't always rely on our biological family for that support. So having that greater network outside of that is really key to social connectedness and better well-being through the Blue Zones Project.
Okay, Stephanie, you mentioned in one of the earlier slides that you could sign up at the Freedom Festival coming up on the over the 4th of July. Where will you be during the Freedom Festival?
We will be out at the Freedom Festival. The Blue Zones Project, we want to spread the word about the Blue Zones Project, and for all our listeners, we hope that you can help us with that by participating in some of our events or finding out what you can do to be a volunteer. Really, the key to the project is people like yourselves. It's not something that a few people need to kind of start it and lead the way, but everybody needs to be involved and engaged so that the community as a whole benefits. So we hope that you'll come out to the Freedom Festival at Imagination Square and find us there. We also have been having booths at a number of other different events. We have one at Meet Me at the Market every Thursday, so you can find us there as well. And if you pledge at Imagination Square at Freedom Festival, or log into your account and show us that you pledged and taken at least one action item, you can get yourself a free Blue Dot t-shirt, which you may have seen some folks wearing around town. And then we encourage you to walk with us in the Freedom Festival Parade. We'd really like to see a sea of blue supporting the Blue Zones Project and helping other people to ask, well, how can I live better longer?
Very good. We love those t-shirts too, don't we? Our next webinar topic is Planning for Your Baby with Michelle Altmeyer, who is the program coordinator, and Amy Wright, clinical specialist at Mercy's Birthplace. Their webinar will be broadcast Thursday, July 11th from noon to 1, and they will take your questions live after the discussion also. Now, if you, I want to go back here a second, just to point out that our web address. A tape of today's program will be available at mercycare.org/live, and it should be posted within the next day or so. And you can always check back at this website for information about future webinars or to listen to any of our past webinars. Now, if you're interested in learning about future Mercy webinars or other events or information about Meet Me at the Market and Mercy's involvement down there, you can sign up for Mercy's electronic newsletter at www.mercycare.org/e-news. I'll do a final check here, but I believe we have covered all the questions that have been submitted to us. But if you have additional questions, we can be reached at the numbers on your screen. Questions specific to Blue Zones, give Stephanie a call. Kristin, any topics specifically related to the Power 9 principles or wellness-related topics, anything about Meet Me at the Market, you can contact me. Now, we had just one more question come in. Can we go back to where we sign up for the Mercy newsletter or for future? And yes, we can do that. So if you're interested in that newsletter, it's mercycare.org/e-news. And again, if you're interested in listening to this webinar again, or if it was helpful to you and you'd like to pass it on to friends or family members, just check our website, mercycare.org/live, where you went to register for this webinar, and you'll be able to tune in and listen again. All right, if there are not any, additional questions, we are going to close up, and thank you all for joining us today.